right, guys. Here we are at the penultimate translation for stage 12 of Cambridge Latin. Ad Villam. In orbe, power maximus erat. In orbe is a prepositional phrase, in plus ablative, it's locative. Pavor, it means panic. Maximus is a nominative adjective. It is a superlative nominative adjective, which is modified pavor, which is third declension. And erat is a third person imperfect copulate verb. And it means in the city there was a great panic. A very great panic. Remember, this is superlative. Kinis jam densior incidebat. Now, this is interesting because kinis, remember we talked about this. This we get the word incinerate from it. It means ash. It's a nominative subject. Jam is an adverb. It means now. Densior is a comparative adjective. It means denser or thicker. But we don't see a comparative clause or a clause of comparison, even though this is a comparative adjective. So you can use these without having full clause of comparison, and the incidebat is the imperfect tense verb. All right, and what this means is ash was now falling thicker or more thickly, right? More densely. Flammai, ubiqua, errant. Flammai is the nominative subject. Ubiqua is an adverb, means everywhere, and errant is that copulate verb. Flames were everywhere. Caecilius et amici postquam urbem intraverent, Villam petebant. Caecilius and the friends, nominative subject, right? Everything between postquam and intraverent is a subordinate clause. It's going to be a temporal clause. It means after they enter the city. So it's a subordinate conjunction. Urbem is the accusative direct object. Intraverent is the third person plural perfect tense verb. Villam is the accusative direct object. And petebant is the imperfect tense verb. Third person plural. And this means Caecilius and the friends, after they entered the city, were making for or looked for, sought the house. So peto is where we get the word petition from, but it means to make for or go after, right? They were making for. Said iter erat difficile quod multi Pompeiani vias complebant. Said is a conjunction. Iter is the subject. Erat is the copulate verb, and difficile is a nominative adjective. And it means, well, actually, we'll translate the rest of it. Comma, so we've got a subordinate conjunction, which means that we've got a subordinated clause. And this is a causal clause, it's an adverbial clause. So quod means because, multi is a nominative adjective, modifying Pompeiani, which is the nominative noun. Vias is the accusative direct object, and complebant is the third person plural imperfect verb from the subordinate clause. And it means, but the road was difficult because many Pompeians were filling the street. Caecilius tamen per vias fortiter contendebant. Caecilius, nominative subject, tamen, adverb, however, per vias, accusative of extent, prepositional phrase. Fortiter is an adverb. Contendebant is a third person singular, imperfect tense verb. Caecilius, however, was bravely hurrying through the streets. Nubes jam densissima erat. Nominative subject, adverb, superlative adjective, copulative verb, this triggering that predicate nominative adjective. The clouds now were very dense, were very thick. So you can think of this like smoke. The smoke now was very dense. Subito, adverb, Julius exclamavit, vos ad Villam continide, ego non valeo. Subito is an adverb. Julius is the nominative subject. Exclamavit is perfect tense verb, third person singular. Vos is the nominative subject. Ad Villam is a prepositional phrase. Ad plus accusative. Continite is a second person imperative verb. You can tell with that ite ending. Ego is the personal pronoun subject. Non is an adverb, negating valeo. And valeo is a first person singular present tense verb. Subito means suddenly. Julius exclaimed. Suddenly Julius exclaimed, you go to the villa. I am not well. So polio, we get the word valid from this. It's glossed as I don't feel well, but it literally means I'm not strong, right? I'm not strong. We get the word also valor from this. It's not strong in the physical sense, but more strong in the sense of character, or in terms of a general sense of well-being, I think. So you hurry to the house. I'm not well. Statum ad terram decidit ex animatus. Adverb. Ad terram is a accusative direct object, a prepositional phrase. Decidit is a perfect tense verb, third person singular. And ex animatus is a nominative. It's a nominative adjective, which is being used, well, technically is substantively used as the subject, but we'll probably translate it as more or less an adverb. And you'll see what I mean when I translate it. And it says, immediately he fell to the earth, he fell to the ground, unconscious. So he, as an unconscious person, fell to the ground. Also, ex animatus, ex is that preposition means separation, and animatus, and animus is literally speaking in Latin, it's breath. So he was out of breath, if you will, and that's, if you're out of breath, you're unconscious. Clemens Julium ad templum proximum portavit. And this means nominative subject, accusative direct object, prepositional phrase, ad plus accusative. Proximum is an accusative adjective going with templum, and portavit is a third person singular perfect tense verb. So this means Clemens carried Julius towards or to a nearby temple. Tu optime fecisti, Caecilius servo dixit, tu Julium serva visti, ego tibi libertatum promitto. So tu is the nominative subject, optime is an adverb, and fecisti is a perfect tense verb, second person singular. Caecilius is the subject of this next sentence. Servo is the indirect object, it's a dative. Dixit is a third person singular perfect tense verb. Tu is the nominative subject. Julium is the accusative direct object. Servo visti is the third person, second person singular perfect tense verb. Ego is the personal pronoun nominative subject. Tibi is the dative indirect object. Libertatim is the accusative direct object, and promitto is the first person singular present tense verb. And what this means is, you did well, Caecilius said to the slave. You served Julius. You saved Julius, not said, you served, you saved Julius. I promise to you freedom. I promise freedom to you. So this is a big deal. Caecilius is freeing Clemens. Right? He's promising that freedom to him. Tum, then, so it's an adverb, right? An adverb. Caecilius et templo discessit et ad Villam concurrit. So adverb. Caecilius is the nominative subject. A templo is prepositional phrase. A plus ablative is ablative separation. Discessit is a perfect tense verb, third person singular. Et lets you know that the sentence isn't over. There's going to be another verb and object. Ad Villam is the prepositional phrase, right? There's no direct object for this, right? Because concurrit is an intransitive verb, and it's a third person singular perfect tense verb. So it means then Caecilius departed from the temple and rushed towards the house. Clemens, cum Julio in templo manebat, tandem Julius respiravit. Nominative subject. Cum Julio is a prepositional phrase. Cum plus ablative, it's an ablative of association. In templo is another prepositional phrase. In plus ablative, it's an ablative of location. So locatival, that is to say. Manebat is an imperfect tense verb, third person singular. Tandem is an adverb. Julius is the nominative subject, and respiravit is a third person singular perfect tense verb. And it means Clemens was remaining in the temple with Julius. At last, Julius more or less recovered his breath or regained consciousness, right? So we, is a prefix in Latin, means again or back, and spiro is to breathe. So he began breathing again, because we know that he was ex animatus, which means that his breath had left him. Not in the sense that he died, though, just he was unconscious. And he regained his breath. He caught his breath by breathing more regularly again. And then he says, Obi sumus rogavit. Ubi is obviously an adverb, it means where. Sumus is are we, so it's a copulate verb. So where are we? Rogavit is perfect tense, third person singular. He asked. So where are we? He asked. Sumus tuti, servus Julio responded. Dea isis non servavit. So nos servavit. And what this means is sumus is the copulate verb. Tuti is means safe, right? It means safe. So we are safe. It's a nominative plural, going with that copulate verb. So we're safe. Servus is nominative subject, dative, indirect object. Julio responded, perfect tense verb, third person singular. Deisis is the nominative subject, right? Nos is the accusative direct object, and servavit is the third person singular perfect tense verb. So what this means is we are safe, the slave responded to Julius. The goddess Isis protected us, or preserved us. So presumably they're in the temple of Isis, and this becomes a little bit relevant later on in the story. We'll see. Postquam tu in terram decidisti ego te ad hoc templum portavi tibi gratias maximus ago quod tu me servisti inquit Julius sed ubi est Caecilius. So postquam is a subordinate conjunction. We know that this is going to be a adverbial clause of time, right? Tu is the nominative subject. Interam is a prepositional phrase, in plus accusative, which means onto, not just in, but onto. So it's showing that motion of falling. And decidisti is a second person singular perfect tense verb. Ego is the subject, it's a personal pronoun, it's the subject of the main clause, because we know that everything between postquam and decidisti is the subordinate clause. Ego is the subject of the main clause, te is the accusative direct object, ad hoc templum is a prepositional phrase, and it's an accusative motion towards, and hoc is it's a demonstrative pronoun modifying templum. Portavi is a first person singular perfect tense verb. Tibi is a dative indirect object. Gratias is accusative direct object. Maximus is a superlative adjective that is modifying gratias, and ago is a first person singular present tense verb. Quod is a subordinating conjunction, letting you know that this is a adverbial causal clause. Tu is the nominative subject. Me is the accusative direct object. And servavisti is a second person singular perfect tense verb. Lastly, inquit is a perfect tense verb. Julius is its subject. Sed is a conjunction. Ubi is an adverb, interrogative adverb. Est is a copulate verb, and Caecilius is a nominative, just a predicate nominative there. So what this means is, after you fell onto the ground, I carried you towards this temple. And he responds, literally it says, I give, ago doesn't exactly mean give, it means to drive, but we can't translate it literally, it doesn't make sense in English. So, but I give great thanks, so the greatest thanks to you is what it means. But we can say, it's like, I'm thanking you a lot, right? I thank you greatly. I give the greatest thanks to you because you saved me. I give the greatest thanks to you because you saved me, said Julius. But where is Caecilius? Almost at the end here, guys. Dominus meus ad Villam contendit, responded Clemens. So Dominus meus is the nominative subject, Dominus is the subject, meus is a possessive pronoun. Ad Villam, prepositional phrase, ad plus accusative, contendit is the perfect tense verb. Responded perfect tense verb, Clemens subject. So my master hurried to the house, responded Clemens. Eu stultissimus est Caecilius, clamavit Julius. So eu was an interjection or exclamation. It means alas. Stultissimus is a superlative adjective. It means the most stupid, very stupid. Est, caecilius. Est is the verb. Caecilius is the predicate nominative. Clamavit perfect tense verb. Julius is the subject. Alas, Caecilius is very stupid, exclaimed Julius. Sine dubio, Metella et Quintus mortuisunt. So sine dubio. Sine is a preposition, right? Sine is a preposition and means without, and it takes an ablative. And dubio is, you can tell with that long O, is actually an ablative, and it means without a doubt. Metella et Quintus, nominative subjects. Mortui. Mortui is going to be, and we'll say it's an adjective right now, is predicate nominative, and sunt is the copulate verb. So it means, without a doubt, Metella and Quintus are dead. Next sentence. Ego ex orbe quam calere me discedo, tu me cum vines? Ego is the subject. Ex orbe is a prepositional phrase. It means it's an ablative separation. Quam calere me is it's a little clause. I've talked about this before. Whenever you see quam, it usually means it's followed by an adverb, and it means as whatever the adverb is as possible. So in this case, it is as quickly as possible. Discedo is the present tense verb, first person singular. Next sentence doesn't have anything to introduce that it's a question besides tone. Tu is the subject. Me cum is the more or less adverb. You can say cum me, so that preposition of ablative with association with cum. And venus is a first person singular. A second person singular present tense verb. And this means I am departing from the city as quickly as possible. And this bit is, are you coming with me? And then the final sentence of this passage, minime amice. And that's a interjection, right? It's just say no plus a vocative, no friend. Clemens Julio responded. Clemens is the nominative subject. Julio is the dative indirect object. Responded is perfect tense verb. Clemens responded to Julius. Ego dominum meum quaero. Great sentence right here. It shows what a loyal chap Clemens is. Ego is the subject, dominum is the accusative direct object, meum is the possessive pronoun, going with dominum, and quaero is the present tense verb, first person singular. It means, I am looking for my master. All right, guys, we're almost there. One passage left. One passage left, guys, and we're done with book 1 of Cambridge Latin, stage 12. Big pat on the back for everyone. Big pat on the back for getting here this far into Latin. Brace yourselves for the next translation, because it's going to be rough. Remember to do your homework, please.